Hey everyone, it's Kate, and today is my birthday. So
Happy birthday!
thanks. So my friend Vita is here with me. Vita is the president of the Missoula Quilt Guild, a great customer and friend, and she just started a new website called
SoFlyQuilts.com with my husband.
Yes. So they're going to be doing long arming, making quilts for people, and her husband's going to be
repairing and
repairing.
servicing machines, as well as selling vintage sewing machines.
That's great. So Vita and I are going to show you how to make this sunset plaid tote bag out of your summer 2021 swatch set. If you're a subscriber to our Quilting Cotton swatch set, you'll get all of the fabrics you need to make the outside of the bag. And we've also created a little finishing kit that I'm going to be using today to finish the bag, but it's kind of optional because you might have all of the supplies you need to finish the bag at home. But if you want to buy one, it's $22 at theconfidentstitch.com. If you don't know about our swatch set, every quarter we send out approximately 30 5.5-inch squares that are seasonally appropriate. Usually there's about 15 or 16 focus fabrics and the rest are solids to kind of fill out the project. Because each swatch set comes with a small project like the bag and a bigger project like this quilt. It includes all the instructions and I make a video, usually by myself. So we're lucky to have Vita today. So let's see, the next, the next step is talking about the units. So I'm gonna head over to the overhead. We had some technical difficulties today, so I got a little bit off. So the units, you're going to make 15 of these offset 4 patches. So they're really just 4 patches. If you look at this intersection here, it's just 4 squares or rectangles together, but it's considered offset because this intersection is not in the middle. And you can also see that they're not symmetrical. There's sashing on 2 sides, but not the other 2 sides. So after we sew all these together, we're going to make some extra sashing, and I will show you how to do that so that the bag turns out to be symmetrical. So all of your 5.5-inch squares are all set. You don't need to cut them anymore because that's what you'll start with. But with your solid fabrics, you get 2 different teal colored solid fabrics. One is called Isle and the other is called Turquoise. And the Isle fabric is a little bit lighter and greener than the turquoise. And you're going to cut both of them 1 3/4 inch by 5.5 inches. So you'll be cutting up your 5.5-inch squares. You'll do 15 of those, and you'll also do 15 1 3/4 inch squares of the light blue fabric, which is called poolside. And to make your extra sashing pieces, you'll cut 1.5 inch by 5 1/4 inch of the 2 teals, and then 1.5 inch squares of the poolside. And all the quantities are in the written instructions that come with your swatch set. I'm going to move these out of the way. You'll also cut your Kraft-Tex. Oh, did I forget to say what's in the finishing kit? In the finishing kit, if you decide to order it, you'll get some Decoville interfacing, which is really cool. Kraft-Tex. You'll get some pre-cut quilt binding, 4 D-rings, and 5/8 of a yard of a lining fabric. So after you cut your 5.5 inch squares, you'll cut your Kraft-Tex into two 1 inch by 36 inch straps. And then there's only 3 here, but you'll cut 4 tabs. These will be your D-ring tabs. And you also get this pre-cut quilt binding, which is really cool. It's 2.5 inches wide, and it's a teal and white stripe. And you're going to get 2 yards, and you just need to cut that in half, and you'll have enough to make the straps along with the Kraft-Tex. And for the lining fabric, you will cut it so it's 8 3/4 by no, why do I keep saying 8 3/4? 18 3/4 by 30.5 inches. It is written correctly in your instructions. And then everything's cut out and you're ready to start making the units. I'm going to be doing most of the talking at the beginning, and then Vita will be doing the sewing in the second half of this demonstration. So in order to make these offset 4 patches, you first just pair all of your aisle greener solid so there's 15 of these, and you're going to pair them with the poolside squares. These are the 1 3/4 inch ones. You'll just pair all of them together, sew them with a 1/4 inch seam, and then you'll pair your turquoise solids with the focus fabrics and sew those along one of the long edges with a 1/4 inch seam. And then you will press both of these toward the square. So this unit is pressed toward the light blue square, and then this unit is pressed toward the focus fabric. And that way you can pair them together and nest the seams. Hopefully you can see that I've nested the 2 seams together, and you're just going to sew along this long edge like this. And then I am going to move the pressing surface this way. And when I sew a 4 patch, I like to spin my seams. And this is what that looks like. So you're going to have one seam. So you're going to have one seam going one direction and the other seam going another direction. And there's like a cute little 4 patch right there. And that creates less bulk right where those meet. And I kind of finger press it in place from the wrong side, and then I'll flip it over and press it better from the right side. All right, so then you're just gonna make 15 of those. And then I'm going to show you how to trim it. So whenever I'm making anything, I like to make it a little oversized and then trim it down to the size that I want it to be. I just have the best luck with everything fitting together that way. It's the Studio 180 design ruler way, but I'm actually just using a regular ruler. And Rachel, can you go get me a rotary cutter, please? Rachel's going to get me a rotary cutter because I
forgot the last time too. No, we forgot the ruler the last time.
Oh, remember? I forgot the ruler last time. Okay. All right. So thank you. So the first cut, the first trim, you're going to have the light blue square. If you're right-handed, it'll be on your upper right. And if you're left-handed, you're going to position it in your upper left. But I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put it over here, and I want to find the spot where the 1 1/4 inch lines meet. And my ruler has a little dot right there, which is very helpful. And I can see that lines of the square are at the 1¼ inch. And then I'm going to make sure that these longer lines are also lined up there. And I'm going to try to not hurt up so I can trim the first two sides. This really does make it so much easier. So then I'm going to rotate 180 degrees and put my ruler, I didn't move it at all, but I'm going to have where the two 5-inch lines meet right at that corner, or yeah, right at where the 4 patches meet. And I'm going to also make sure that this is 6¼ inches on both sides, and that this 5-inch line is right along the legs of the unit, and I'm going to trim those two sides. And so then you'll have 15 offset 4 patches that are the exact same size, which is really helpful. And then you're going to pair your narrower or 1½ inch sashings that you cut earlier with the 1½ inch squares of the light blue. And with the turquoise, you're going to cut, or you're going to sew 5 of the turquoise to 6 of the light blue squares. So both ends are going to have a square. And then with the aisle color, the greener color, you'll sew 3 of those to 3 light blue squares. And you are ready to make the fabric for your bag. And I'm going to move these out of the way. And the magic, I made one off camera. So to make the bag fabric, you're going to make 5 rows of 3 of the units. And you want them to be going in the same direction. So they're all like this. And because, as I said, because the square doesn't have sashing on all 4 sides, you're going to have sashing up here, and then you'll add an extra sashing row to the bottom, and then you have sashing here, and you'll add the extra sashing row to the side. You'll want to do the bottom and then the side, because the side has the extra squares on it. And it's all in the instructions. So after you make the fabric, you'll adhere the Decoville to it. The Decoville is 17 inches wide. It's a little extra long, but I like to trim it down so that there's plenty of space to sew your seams without sewing in the Decoville. It's not a big deal if you do, but it's just a little easier for sewing. It's pretty easy to adhere. But I did it from the right side so that I could make sure I wasn't ironing in any wrinkles. And after you iron it on, you just want to let it sit for about 20 minutes. It'll adhere better that way. And ask me how I know. The first time,
live and learn.
Yeah, first time I just picked it right up, and it just didn't stick, and I couldn't figure out why. So once you have your fabric ready, you're going to mark where you want to put your straps. We're almost ready to have Vita join us. And the place that I marked for the straps was 2 inches from the top edge and 4½ inches from the side. Oh yeah, I want to show you Decoville. So Decoville it's made by Pellon, our version of it, but it's more pliable than most bag interfacings. I really like it. It doesn't, you know, when you fold it or wave it around, it doesn't get those weird seams that won't come out. I really like it a lot. So you're going to measure 2 inches down and 4.5 inches from the side and put a little mark. Of course. Oh, and I forgot to show how to make the straps.
I saw the red pen here.
Yeah, well, thank you.
We got more.
We got more. Okay. I'm going to have Vita show us how to put the tabs on. So I told you about cutting the Kraft-Tex in 1.25 times 4-inch tabs, and you're going to fold it in half. And let's head over to the other camera. And after I fold it in half, I drew a line at 1/8 of an inch and then at 1 inch. And then I put some 1/8 inch tape on the other side. And we're going to have a super mini bag here, 5.5 inch. And there's the D-ring. So yeah, you'll put the D-ring in and just place the fold right at the center of where you put the mark. And then you might want to take the back of the tape off and tape it. It's just nice. You can tape it down to the fabric. I love this 1/8 of an inch tape. Hopefully.
Get it off there.
There you go. Yeah, and then hold it in place that way.
Okay.
And then just sew along the 2 lines that you drew.
Figure out where my pedal is here.
And yeah, make sure to back stitch. Yeah, the first time I made one of these, I did a whole square, but it's really hard when you have the bag fabric because it's really quite big. So I think it's totally fine just to do 2 rows with back stitching.
I'm going to shorten the stitch a little
Okay.
bit. Oh, yeah.
And I'll have to switch over. Okay. So after you attach your D-rings, you're going to want to make your straps. And the way you make your straps is to take the pre-cut quilt binding and fold it toward the center. And it's not only pre-cut, but it's pre-pressed. So that center fold is in there. I like to do one side and pin the fabric to the ironing board and iron that side down.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah, it's so nice to not
right. Instead of holding it while you're trying to.
Yeah, you're not burning your fingers and you're not.
If you're steaming.
Right, exactly. And then I know, it takes a little longer, but I just have a much better product if I can slowly make sure that my raw edge is actually going toward the center and I'm not burning my fingers. So then I do the other side.
Well, it will also help when you attach that. You'll get a nice even distance on each side of your.
Right. So then I move the pins and then you can actually just iron it nice and flat. With this, It's such a teal. We're so teal today. We've got the teal solids,
It's
the
the
teal
color,
on here,
isn't it?
the teal on here. We even have some teal on our scissors. We are just a teal group today. So after you prepare the quilt binding, then you just cover up, we're not going to do it on camera, but you cover up the raw edges with the Kraft-Tex and you make a cute little handle or strap. You can use Wonder Clips to hold it in place, but you'll just top stitch it. Hopefully you can see that okay. Can you see a little bit higher? So you'll just top stitch the edges of the Kraft-Tex. I did it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And Kraft-Tex doesn't fray, so you don't have to worry about turning it under. But after you sew your straps, they'll be the whole 36 inches. You want to mark each end at 1/2 inch, 3 inches, 4 1/4, and 5 1/4. And then, and Vita's going to show you how to sew those to your D-rings. Oh,
More D-rings, right?
no, we're going to use
here.
this one.
This one.
Yeah. So you're going to.
Good thing I trimmed it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's focused on the needle.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to fold this at the 1/2 inch and then at the 3 inches. There you go. Yep. And then you'll thread it through the D-ring.
Like so.
Yep. And then you're going to sew on those two 4 1/4 and 5 1/4 inch lines. Make sure to back stitch. It's nice to have a second person.
Right.
It's great. I can prep the next step. You can probably hear the machine makes a little more noise when it's going through the Kraft-Tex, but you can use a regular needle. It's
Yeah, I mean that sews it really nice.
yeah, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a vegan leather.
And it's not difficult to manage.
No.
It through with all those layers.
Right. Okay.
This is my first experience with the Kraft-Tex.
Oh, it is.
Mhm.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Well, do you love it?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Cool.
Try that.
I can't believe that you've never sewn with Kraft-Tex. I thought you'd done everything.
Haven't done this one yet.
Okay. All right. So in real life, you would be sewing that little unit at all 4 corners of your bag. But since we're in video land, let's pretend that we did. And then you just need to fold the bag fabric right sides together and line up your plaids. Everything should line up nicely. And then I'm going to have Vita sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance from the fold up.
What 1/4 inches? I'm looking in here for the 1/4 inch foot.
Oh, we don't have a 1/4 inch foot.
A 1/4 inch foot. You need. So
Yeah, I know. I just use
that line right there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
In between. Yeah. So you're going to start at the fold and you can also kind of use this line here.
Oh yeah.
Right. So then you do want to back stitch at the beginning and the end.
Okay.
I can take your, I'll be your pin.
There's my little magnet.
I know. I didn't use a magnet because it kept pulling all the all the tools to it. It doesn't work well for videos.
Those are my favorite.
I know, the Zirkle.
The Zirkles that I bought from you. I have 5 of them in my studio.
I know, I have a lot of pin cushions and scissors
Mhm.
in all, at the ironing board, at the sewing machine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so let's,
Do the other side?
yep. But start at the fold,
Oh, that's right.
because if you start at the top, you might end up with a little
Absolutely.
pucker.
at the end.
Yeah. One of my students did that with a pocket, and she called it the Wilson pleat, because her last name is Wilson. So she's like, it was a pleat. I wanted a pleat in my pocket. It's a design element, which is what I always say.
If my husband's around when I'm sewing and he sees me do something like that, he says, "Did you mean to do that?" I'm like, "Did you mean to point out that I made a boo-boo?"
Yeah. Do you value your life? I like that meme. It's, if you see a seam ripper in my hand,
Right.
now is not the time.
If he sees it, he's like, "Uh-oh, something happened."
All right.
There we go.
So then in real life, you would press the seam allowance open,
Can
but-
we see it over here?
but we're
No.
not, okay. So now, but we're going to bring it to the overhead. All right. So in real life, we would press this seam allowance open, but we are not quite in real life, so we don't need to do that. But we are going to box the corners, and to box the corners, I like to kind of draw. This is going to be hard. I'm going to draw a make-believe bottom seam, because the bottom is just a fold. And this is the side seam. This is the bottom. I'm going to, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get in here, and we're gonna box the corners. And to box the corners, you want to line up this side seam with this bottom seam. And it's easier to do if there really are 2 seams. And of course, my Decoville is not behaving, but let's see. Yeah, so we're pretty close here.
Yeah, press it down.
I'm not going to press it, no.
Okay.
But so you're going to kind of create a new triangle like this. I'm going to feel in here. There we go. Creating a new triangle. The bottom seam is down here, parallel with this side seam. And I'm going to measure 2 1/4 inches from this apex of this new triangle. And that is right here. It's going to be right where one of the plaid seam is. And then I'm going to draw a line perpendicular to my side seam, right at that 2 1/4 inch. And then, of course, when I'm not on camera, it's like
It's
super.
a whole lot easier.
It's so
isn't it?
easy. Yeah, it's like
When
boom,
you're
boom.
trying to hold it so that it can be seen, it makes it a whole lot more
I know.
difficult.
So I've got this in place, and I'm going to have Vita sew along the line that I drew. And I frequently throw a couple pins in just to make sure everything is even. So it's going to have you sew along that line. And she backstitched. Excellent.
I like to make my back stitches a little bit longer when you're doing the bags.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's going to be stuff in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go back to the overhead. I'm not positive this is exactly right. But if I were, I would trim away the fabric and I would have a beautiful boxed corner. And you can still see it even when I don't trim it away. Well, actually, I'm gonna show you on the finished bag. Maybe, there we go. So this is what it looks like. And this way, yep. So you're gonna have a nice boxed corner. And I actually changed it a little bit because you can see that it wasn't right on the plaid line. So with the 2 1/4 inch, it's gonna be right along there and look really nice. So you can give that back. And after you box both your corners, and in real life, you would have your straps already attached. You're going to keep your bag at inside out. Oh yeah, here's how, and I'm going to tell you how to sew the lining. So you sew the lining exactly like you did the bag. It's going to be the same size, and you just fold it hamburger style. And sew one side seam all the way, and the other side seam you're going to leave about an 8-inch opening, and make sure to backstitch at the beginning and end of that opening so that you don't rip. And then you box the corners just like we did with the bag. And so with the bag inside out and the lining right side out. So I know it's solid, but you can see that this is a right side out boxed corner. You just put the lining inside the bag so that the fabrics are right sides together. And then matching up the side seams, you can pin or wonder clip all the way around the edge, and you'll sew with a 1/4 inch seam all the way around and turn it right side out through the hole that you left in one of the lining side seams. And then the final step is just to top stitch along the very top about a 1/4 inch from the edge after pressing. So that is it. Oh, and then if you're a good person, you will seal up that side seam hole.
Right.
If you're me, you will probably forget and lose things in it. But you can either do it hand stitching so it's really invisible, or you can just sew it up with the machine because no one's going to see your lining. You'll just see your beautiful bag. And I'm really happy with how this turned out.
It's really cute. Be great for taking on a picnic or to the beach.
I know. I'm going to go to Los Angeles at the end of the month to see my daughters, and definitely going to bring one of these.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you're,
Oh, sorry. You have to sing happy birthday.
oh my gosh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kate. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thanks, everybody. Yay! And a cupcake.
Yes.
Cupcake.
We only have one gift.
Yeah, we didn't. It's a little big,
Yes, it's our,
but it's our fabric burning candle. when
to
we
test whether it's silk or not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's our fabric testing candle, but you know, it works for birthdays.
There you go.
Thanks, Maisie.
yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy
And
birthday
Vida.
again.
Thanks for joining me on my birthday video. And if you're watching live, thanks for being patient. We apologize for our technical difficulties, but you know, the internet is the internet. And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and I'll be making this quilt out of the summer 2021 swatch set. So thanks for watching, everyone, and bye for now.